so I want to kind of lay out what we've got going on here, the foundation and the scope of the neighborhood council. So the neighborhood council is authorized by the city council to work issues between the actual neighborhood, the individuals that own property or reside in the boundaries of River Park, to work with the city to enact laws, policies, procedures that the majority feels betters their neighborhood. That makes sense. So HOA stuff, that's not what we deal with here. HOAs are a separate entity. That deals with grass cutting, shrub cutting. Can I knock a wall down? That's all HOA. We deal with city ordinances, acts, and laws and try to make things better. Just as an example, out of the majority of the parks in Oxnard, we're one of the only ones that has a reservation system set up where you can go ahead early and reserve your spot in your park without having to do the first come, first serve thing that is the majority of the park, the majority of the parks in Oxnard. So that's kind of like a little bit of what we can do. So we always start off with the beat officer report, and we've got a great beat officer. You want to take it away, Brandon?
Yeah, so what we've gone through is, I know we skipped a meeting, or we did a meeting, but it was not that many meetings, it was a holiday season. So we'll go back all the way to before the holiday season. We got hammered up here in the holiday season from the package, the UPS packages and FedEx and stuff like that. So basically what we learned, that was my first year up here with that, so hopefully we'll learn next year, maybe we get a little bit better of a system, or get more people to do the sign for the package, because what ended up happening with the UPS was they hire seasonal workers, and they always don't do the greatest job when they're delivering the packages. They're just throwing them on people's doorsteps, not ringing their doorbell or not making contact. And what ended up happening was people were just following the UPS trucks. So they'd pick up the boxes right when they got set down. We had a couple video surveillance up here of cars, and we could see exactly how they were doing it. They were just driving up and down the streets in River Park, looking at the doorsteps, because we know all of our houses up here, the door is like right on the porch, so you could see it perfectly from, and there's nowhere for them to hide the packages, so they were just in the open. So we were losing a lot of packages. We ended up making 3 to 4 arrests for the theft of packages, which I think was more than any of the rest of the city made, just through directed enforcement with that. And one of our residents caught one themselves in her sandals after running like half a mile after him.
Not sure my husband got him, but
Well,
I was crazy and said, go get him. And anyway.
So
She choked him out, trying to choke.
It was crazy. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. We haven't deleted the video because it was that bad. No, I'm just kidding. So other than that, what I did bring is that crimemapping.com is a new website that the Oxnard Police Department put up. And so basically what crime mapping is it's connected right to our records management system, so it gives you real time to look at what kind of crime's going on in your area. So how it works is anytime someone calls the police and makes a crime report, it's going to add that onto, basically it's a map of River Park or wherever you want to see in the city of Oxnard. You can zoom in on it and see which crimes have happened or which arrests have been made in your neighborhood. It won't give you the exact physical address, it gives you just the 100 block that it happened in. So I have through January to February, and then I have just February, and I'll explain why I'm passing around. Sorry, we don't print out a bunch of them because we hope that you guys can do them, so I'll just do one on each side. The first one that has looks like a lot of crimes on it is going to be January, and the second one's going to be February. So if you were on the website, you can click on it, it'll tell you exactly what it was. So I know it kind of looks like there's a lot of dots on there for the last 30 days, but I'll just kind of explain so you can kind of remember what some of the crimes are that were reported up here. So if it's a red fist, it's a red dot with a fist, that's an assault. So it could be a domestic violence call or a bar fight or something that we responded to. So that's going to generate a crime report, so you're going to see those on there. There's going to be 2 purple cars that you're going to see in River Park. That wasn't a crime that necessarily happened here. Actually, officers got in pursuit of a stolen car. I don't know if any of you are on Facebook, I posted that. They ended up running to River Park. and dumping the car in River Park and running from us because they ran out of road. Which the joke was online, it was like the worst neighborhood to call because everybody and their mother called 911 to tell us where the guy was running.
Good job.
So we ended up catching that guy. Another one of the stolen cars that we chased a guy up here. He ran from the car from Ventura and Wagon Wheel, and it was actually a Navy lieutenant who lives in River Park actually chased him and caught him for us after all of us. Right when the guy jumped in the water, all the cops were like, full uniform, we're not getting wet. The Navy guy, in his full fatigue, dove in the water and started chasing after the guy and took him into custody for us. So he was actually in the news too. Other than that, you're going to see another sign on there with a needle. That just means a drug arrest was made. Fire extinguishers of vandalism. Anything with a money sign is a kind of a theft. And then there's going to be a gray one with a car, and if that's with a broken line through it, that's a vehicle burglary. So I'll start this. Which way do we go with that one? I'll go this way. So last month, what happened in our beat, what officers did up here is we had a very large rash of burglaries from vehicles. Nothing residential. You'll see on some of them, some in River Park pop up as a residential burglary. The reality of what it is, somebody left their garage open and somebody went into an open garage. We're having a big issue in the Serenade apartments with that. Now, for the law, that counts as a residential burglary, so kind of scary, right? No one wants to read about a residential burglary. In reality, it's a garage burglary if you read it. What we did up here to address the package theft, we did an operation down in the riverbed, where we walked the whole riverbed that parallels River Park and down. We made 10 arrests when we did that, and we attempted to evict everybody out of it. We're trying to get them to go in with bulldozers and bulldoze all that, the reeds and stuff, because that's where they build all their cover. Not as simple as it sounds, because I guess it's an estuary out there, so the people who protect the animals don't want the bulldozers in there, so it's kind of a fight that I argued, well, there's like 5 tons of trash down there because of the people living there. Isn't that more? So we have to go, anyways, we have to go through the Ventura County Board of Supervisors to get that. We're working on that to try to see if we can clean that out. If we clean that out, a lot of our thefts are going to go down, I think. Point being, after the 10 arrests we made, 0 thefts in River Park. Up down on the Vineyard area, we think we were getting affected by them. They had 40 or 50 vehicle burglaries. We did an operation down there with the district officers down there. We ended up arresting one guy who we found evidence for all the burglaries. So one guy was doing the majority of the burglaries. He's in custody now with a female. They were doing Ventura, the close to Oxnard. They're doing residential burglaries there, River Park, and the south side of our beat. So we took him into custody. He's waiting trial. We found all the evidence from all the burglars. Lucky for us, he liked to keep ID cards when he broke into people's cars. So we finished that. I've gotten complaints for speed up here in River Park. What we did is we put a radar trailer on Oxnard Boulevard at Danvers River for a 24-hour period to monitor the cars. The average speed between there was between 20 and 30 miles an hour for the majority of the cars, which is right in line with what the speed limit says. We're getting complaints of speeding. The highest speed we got was 62 there. He was running. We actually stopped him. It was him.
I was on the road too. It was crazy.
He didn't even stop for the roundabout. He just went straight through Central Park. It was crazy. No, I'm just kidding. But so we do know that we have a speed problem. These roundabouts are horrible. To be 100% honest, I don't even know how they work. So I had to ask our traffic people how they work.
Check Facebook.
Or Facebook, yeah. I don't know. I had to research it myself. So basically, we come up with, if you're in the inside, you have to yield to everybody else on the outside lane, is our traffic division came up from. So if you get into the roundabout and you're on the inside, you yield to everybody on the outside. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Just something to know about being on the inside or being on the outside, right? So the 2-lane roundabouts, if you're on the inside, hang out on the inside until you don't see a car for like 3 or 4 miles. If you're on the outside and someone's on the inside, that does not necessarily mean that they're not going to cut right in front of you to get to a spot. So the best thing about the roundabouts that I can say is and I drive 3 roundabouts 2 times a day. is just slow down. And if you've got someone near you, just anticipate that they're insane. That's the best thing I can say.
And it's true too, because even when we go through them, I mean, I come to a dead stop like it's a stop sign and creep through it because people fly through those things and nobody knows who has the right of way, so everybody just says, well, I have the right of way then, I'm going to go for it. And we've had some major accidents in there, or people that don't even turn for the roundabout, they just go straight through it. Other than that, some of the tactics that we've changed up here is River Park is horrible for the police department of us trying to do patrol in black and white because all the big center medians and Central Park, because it never fails, we get a call and it's somebody on the opposite side of Central Park, but we're in a police car, so we can't get to the other side. So we've changed up a little bit. We got 3 bikes up here now, so we have officers on bicycles, and we've also got an unmarked police car that we're going to be driving around up here. They're actually out there tonight, so if you see a car, 2 officers stop someone with a big cherry forward-facing red going on, it's going to be us. Okay, it's not some.
Don't report it, right?
No, and to be quite honest with you, if you guys end up seeing them and take pictures and post on Facebook, we don't mind that. We do want that to get out. Like, hey, they're even up there in unmarked cars. They're on bikes. Because it tells the criminals stay away from here because we're going to come at them with every angle, and we're gonna mix it up all the time up here. We have the money, thanks to you guys that live up here for your roofs. To do that, so we try to keep switching it up because just seeing the black and white all the time, they know. I can tell you 90% of the people who commit problems in our city go down Garone, when they're cutting through here because they know if we're on one side, all they have to do is cross the center median and we have to go all the way to the end to get around the other side. So you're going to start seeing some unmarked cars up here. Don't freak out. It doesn't mean that anything's going on. We're just trying to catch the 1 or 2 people that are in this neighborhood causing a ruckus.
Have you guys had any more contact with the black beanie guy that's been riding through here?
We talked to him. He works in he lives in El Rio and he works in Ventura. He does have a lengthy history. However, I couldn't imagine seeing him doing anything in here because we've talked to him so many times and given him the rules. There was one other guy we were seeing before, and he went to jail 5 times before he figured out that River Park didn't want him here. And he
just saw him this morning, I was kind of giving him the stink eye, and then he hauled ass around me and just took off like rode as fast as he could.
Yeah, most of them know because if you post it, some people get like, hey, don't post it, it's irregular. If it's suspicious to you, the worst case scenario, I'm going to contact him, say hello to him, talk to him. If he lives here, I'll tell you on Facebook, or I'll request that it gets taken down.
Happened to me last time, remember?
And it's going to happen, but if we don't know our neighbor, what's nice about here, most people know their neighbors. I had one call where they called on the neighbor who lived on the street behind them. That was actually the home run. The suspicious vehicle in the alley. And well, the guy actually lived there. He was just sitting in his car, Facebooking, I don't know. So when I contacted him, I said, hey, what are you doing here? He's like, I live here. How long you lived here? Like 6 months. Oh, well, hey, come here. We're going to go meet your neighbor right now. When we have a neighborhood like this, everybody knows each other. Everybody kind of knows the kind of people that are walking around and the cars that should be going up and down the street. That's great for us because 90% of the time you guys are right on when you call a suspicious person in. They don't live here. They don't belong here. What are you doing? We get some half-cocked story of they're going to see somebody and we know a lot of the neighbors, so, well, which house are you going to do? Oh, no, that's not your house, that's Jesse's house, so I know him, and you're not going to that house. So that's a good thing for us. That's why we want to keep out. If you guys have any ideas of what you guys need us to do, the thefts of packages, I don't know what to do because FedEx doesn't care, UPS doesn't care. They have this system you can go in to get it reimbursed, and it's kind of hard to deal with them, and they can't really control their people if they're knocking on doors. And they kind of have a point, like, hey, we can't keep these around. Where are we supposed to take them? And when we door knock around out there, there's no place to hide them here, so we just leave them.
There are a couple of options that are kind of sprouting up. There are some people that have made some contact with me and actually posted on the page about their stay-at-homes, stay-at-home moms, stay-at-home dads, and they'll working on kind of making sure that they don't get hosed in the whole process, but they're saying, hey, if you want your stuff dropped off, I'll take it, and then you just come get it within 24 hours. It's being worked right now. People are worried about liability, right? So if they get a package from UPS and the UPS guy looks like the opening scene from Ace Ventura, and they accept that package. Only a couple people got that. God, I feel old. Only a couple people got that. But anyway, if they accept that package and it's beat to heck, they don't want to have to then accept the liability when UPS was actually the people that busted it. So they're working on it. They're trying to feel it out. Also on Amazon, they do sell, and they're gaudy, where they're one-way drop boxes. So you drop it in. Basically, it's a box like this. It's got a push down, a spring load that comes back up, and then there's a lock on the outside, and you just unlock it and get your package out. They're gaudy and they're semi-expensive, but if you do a lot of shipping to your house, that can be an option.
And we don't know, we're still gonna work on stuff. I know a lot of the neighborhoods have those community mailboxes. Maybe if you live here, you get a key to it, and they just drop them all in the community box, and you guys can go through them later and pick out yours. I don't know, we gotta figure out something though. That's not just River Park, nor is it the city of Oxnard, it's nationwide. That's the big thing now. Nobody shops anymore. Everybody goes to the retail stores to see if it fits and then orders it online. So that's why they're doing it.
You talked about the community boxes. I work with U.S. Postal Service, and lately we've been having a lot of break-ins in those community boxes, even in gated communities. And this year was probably the most we've ever had as far as Oxnard. I understand the other cities are having the same problem. Do you know whether the postal inspectors are working with the police department, or?
Supposedly, I call him all the time and he says he's coming. I've never met the guy.
The one break-in that we have, was reported that got some notoriety. We have a couple of residents work for the post office, and the postal inspector did come out and was
And
whether
also,
they talked to them or not, I don't know. I know that they came
also
out.
they deliver on Sundays too, especially if it's Amazon.
Right. So in holiday time, most of them work 7 days, and they'll deliver up to like 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So you won't even know. You know.
I got this wallet at 10:30.
Yeah. So you don't even know. So when they come through here, so just getting back to that, I mean, to think that there's a neighborhood that guys aren't doing this. I mean, I don't care where you live. Every night there's somebody riding up and down on the bicycle, checking door handles, doing whatever. It's incumbent on all of us just to make sure, one, in our cars, we don't keep anything in our cars. We had one just right here in Vista Urbana. They left the laptop in the car, and the window got shattered. So what you're seeing is, and I've arrested a lot of these guys that do it, they're not going to break the window unless they see something in your car. It's just 100% of the time. They say, why risk breaking the window when I can go 2 cars down and I'm going to find the laptop or the iPad or the iPhone or the GPS that I know I'm going to get when I break the window. So does it happen every once in a while? Maybe they'll break the window, maybe not. Don't leave your valet keys in the glove box and a laptop, because they're going to break the window, and then check the glove box, take your valet key, and then they're going to take your car too. That happened up here at the Mosaics. They left the valet key in the glove box. So to say that there's people not checking, we're out here, they learn our schedules of when we're working, then they come out here to defeat those. So we're switching our schedules around for the officers. So a lot of people like ask me, do you work 24 hours a day? Because I see you during the day, I see you in the morning, and I see you at night. During the week I shift, I work a couple days during the day and a couple days at night, just so I can see what's going on both sides of the day. As we get more and more people here, there's more and more people starting to be outside, which is actually pushing the bad element out of here. Because when they start taking over the parks, it's because the parks are empty, so they start moving in. Well, now they can't even play at the parks anymore, or try to hang out and drink at the parks. Vineyards Park was really bad for a while. East Park, all the El Rio kids were coming to East Park for some reason. Now there's sports teams and stuff playing at the parks. We're not having any of those issues at the parks. If you guys do start seeing issues, please hit me up on Facebook, my email. Anyone who's on Facebook knows I'm on it all the time. And I try to respond to calls. Sometimes I'm there before the call even gets to dispatch. But please call both, because that generates 2 crime analysis reports for me. One, I get a crime analysis report from dispatch for every time somebody calls. And 2, I run an analysis on Facebook. Yeah, cops can do that, it's cool. But don't ask me how. There's a particular person that can do that. What problem areas that we're having.
I just had a question. I mean, do you see is the crime comparable to other areas like River Ridge or around Gonzales as it is in Facebook, or as it is in River Park? Or?
No. Our crime is way under.
Oh,
we have nothing compared. honestly, if we didn't have Melrose, what's that?
We're the safest training officer.
Oh, 100%. No, no doubt about it.
Every time that you, I don't know if you're on neighborhood, what is it called? Nextdoor.com. Nextdoor.com, they put out the whole city crime stat numbers, and also there's a website that he gave earlier, but if you look at the whole city, I mean, we are tiny compared to the crimes in other places. And I'm not talking the quote-unquote Bad El Rio, no, I'm talking regular River Ridge, private condo areas with fences and we are way down from all of that.
Yeah, the crime
It's
here.
ridiculous.
Literally, if I went to the station and we didn't have Melrose, say we didn't have Melrose, that everybody pays in for police, because anytime we do operations or overtime things here, it's all paid by the Melrose, so it's different than general fund. If I went to the chief and said, hey, I need to do an operation here, we got a crime problem in River Park, and we want to go do this to go address it, they'd probably laugh at me. Say, yeah, you could go probably to 10 other places in the city and do something before River Park, because there's no crime up there. Now, but what we do have is we have the Melrose, so our goal here is not to stop the crime, it's to prevent it. So we don't have crime. So when I have 7 officers working up here, you know, on a Friday night, it's not because this place is full of crime. It's because we want people to see, you know, these kids that are coming from different parts of Oxnard. It's an attraction. Everybody that I talk to, Santa Barbara, to Ventura, to Newberry Park, are all coming to the collection. I want them to see that, wow, there's a bunch of cops around here, you know, that they're going to find you. Now, there's some tagging that I just saw, Shy. I promise you, I'm going to find that guy. Yeah, I'm going to find Shy. And
Maybe that did that song, If I Ever
if he's going to go down for it, we're going to figure out who Shy is. And the nice thing about our graffiti is once we identify him, he gets to pay for it. Oh, come on, his mom gets to pay for it.
And one thing that makes our crime look bigger than it is we've got River Park Neighborhood Watch, River Park Residents and Homeowners. There's another River Park page somewhere else. There's a rummage sale page. We got like 9 River Park pages.
Dirty
and
laundry.
If something happens, it's on all of those. So everyone sees when something happens, and not only that, it's multiple people. Like when there was a chase that ended here in River Park a couple weeks ago, there were literally pictures from like 8 different angles of people just snapping it out of their house.
Yeah, we just followed the picture. I called Brandon, like, Brandon, he's running over here. I'm like, okay, and then, hang on, somebody else, he's in my backyard. Oh, shit, oh, where? So, yeah, it's completely different compared to you go to another site, Gonzales. You just talk about Gonzales. Gonzales is just, you know, you get into something over there, you're like, hey, which way do you go? They said that way, we run that way, because we know they're giving us the wrong direction. You know, they don't care, they don't want them to get caught. Up here's a completely different neighborhood, and I always laugh when people run the River Park. I'm like, oh, you're busted. You're either gonna crash into a roundabout, or...
It's been multiple posts on the same front. So I've been watching. I'm not as active on Facebook as I was prior because I lowered my data plan. But there are multiple posts on the same incident. So and people are like, oh my gosh, River Park's not safe anymore. No, we're just everyone here has one of these that goes like this and puts it on Facebook, and there's 9 different Facebook pages. So it's not that we're not safe, it's that we're reporting things as should be reported as much as humanly possible. So, questions?
The final thing on that is the reason I do Facebook and I monitor Facebook is I know a lot of people won't call because you call 911 or you call the dispatch and it's like, Oxnard, please hold, and then the Jeopardy song plays for like 45 minutes. So they think if it's something that's not that important, I'll just post it on Facebook. And I'll get it within that day, or sometimes I'm on it. If I'm working up here, actually I just leave it on, and I can hear it, ding to me and go off, so I can check the area and the officers know, and I can let my district guys know where you guys want to see them.
Question. Since we're admins, a lot of people like have their doubts on we request the address verification, right? And people just like, sometimes they just don't want to do it. Is that okay to be asking their address verification? I mean, I'm the only one looking at the address, in which obviously I don't care, you know? I just want to know that it's an actual resident and that's
So
it.
the question is, for those that didn't hear in the back, is that on the main River Park page, River Park residents and homeowners at the bottom of your flyer, and the River Park neighborhood watch page, we will ask for address verification. Some people think we're Big Brother and we're gonna send a drone over their house, and I don't know exactly what's going on, but they just don't want to. And so he's asking, what's the legality of that?
Well, here's the thing, you're joining something, so if he's the admin on it, then that's the best way. I kind of think it's a good idea to make sure you don't have people from outside trying to monitor, or then you get the trolls that are trolling your stuff and kind of know what's going on here.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea. Just give me your address. They don't go nowhere. I ain't gonna show up at your house.
I actually delete the message.
So I think it's a good idea because you don't want to get those trolls. The people figure out their ways in. You know, every gang member in Oxnard now, if you grab their phone, they have the scanner app, so they're listening to everything that we put off. And so we do a lot of things over text messages. They're now on our computers, so because we can't put it over the air because they all got, you know, you guys call about a loud party. You know, they know the call gets dispatched and they turn everything off. So by the time we get there, we can't do anything about it. So we start to do more stuff off the radio, kind of thing. This with Facebook. There's some information on Facebook that you guys might not want to let other people know about, or people that are outside this neighborhood that you don't want them looking at or watching what's going on.
And there are 3 address verified pages. So there's the rummage sale page, and the reason why that's asked for verification is because if people want to post something, they want to post it to their neighbors first. You know what I mean? They want to say, hey, I got this free mattress, who wants it? You know, that type of stuff. They want to give it to the neighbors first. The River Park residents and homeowners page, because again, it's kind of one of those, we don't want our problems getting to everyone else. You know, and the way I look at it is I can talk trash about my sister, but you can't. And that's how I kind of feel about River Park, you know. And then it's the River Park neighborhood watch page. There's a dirty laundry page, there's a River Park Ventura County page, there's all kinds of, those 3 main pages are the address verified pages, and that's where you're gonna get the majority of your information. Everything else, you know, like the dirty laundry page, I don't even get on that thing anymore.
Well, what happened with the homies the other day, remember? The one with the nails? That
Yeah,
worked?
there was a guy on there trolling some woman about her feet for like 20 minutes of posts, and it's just, who wants that? You know what I mean? So if you stick to those 3 pages, that's where you're going to get contact with the officers. That's where you're going to get contact with the neighborhood council. That's where you're going to get contact with the majority of your neighbors that you know are your neighbors. And again, we're kind of reiterating a lot of this because there's so many new faces here, which is awesome. But you had a question, Ed?
I have a question about parking, and I know that we've probably talked about it a million times before, but I walk a lot, and I notice that people parking into the areas for wheelchairs, and they're almost into the crosswalks. So to see if anybody's coming, you go walk out, look around the car, and I never see anybody ticketed.
Yeah, and that's another issue that we're working on up in River Park. I got 2 TSAs that come up here now, and they do ticket up here.
Okay.
It's a TSA.
Traffic service assistants, they're like the cadets that drive around the little cadet trucks. The issues we're having with there, 1, we need to get more TSAs to come do up here. 2, because River Park's not fully built out yet, there's only certain things that they can enforce. And before the city comes and puts up the signs and all that stuff.
The problem is the association doesn't care.
Right.
In the city, and there's no red zones, there's no yellow zones.
Right. And then we have this big fight of they want to do permitted parking. You know, then you have the group that says this is why you don't want to do permanent parking.
We're not getting into that.
Yeah.
Not off right
Yeah,
now.
Yeah, and so you get all that stuff.
No,
But
if
yes,
you're doing parking things.
if they're blocking the crosswalk, they're going to get a ticket.
And the other question I have is, they're not supposed to have motorhomes and trailers. And I can't get anybody to respond.
It's under, there's a foot, now, the HOA is different, okay? The HOAs, there are some things written into the CCNRs
Yes.
that are just completely just not in accordance with any type of law whatsoever. The HOAs cannot dictate parking.
And they
Because they
have
don't own
already
the street.
indicated to me that they don't. But the city, it's a city rule that you can't have motorhomes on the
It's-
streets.
It
wait.
depends upon, yes.
I can't do that,
yeah.
actually.
Okay.
And no, I'm not one of the TSAs, but I am code compliant.
Before we get into this, is Dawn Cron. She does all our code compliance stuff for the city. So half the stuff you start talking about housing, I don't know anything about.
I'm city code, and
She
they're
is the
municipal
city
code
code.
and traffic laws, and you mentioned earlier, city code, municipal code, that's what I am, that's what we do. So, to answer your question, you can have a motorhome on the street in Oxnard for 24 hours for loading, 24 hours of unloading when you come home from your trip.
But one has been out there for weeks, so.
It needs to be called into the traffic line.
Okay.
See,
and
that's a whole
reported.
different thing because that's only 72 hours. You can't have a car in one spot for 72 hours. So,
Motorhomes is 24.
and motorhomes
Cars are
24,
72.
and then the TSAs will come out and they'll mark it.
And they're actually right up to blocking the bicycle lanes.
Right.
So why
If
are
they're
they
blocking,
continuing?
that's a whole different thing. If they're blocking something, then it'll end up either getting cited or something.
Not happening, that's what I'm
And
asking.
if we're not getting the calls for it, here's with
I would
police
think if you
officers.
drove around, you'd see it.
Well, here's the thing with the police officers, they're not gonna drive around looking for parking violations. If
You
it's a
don't have to
radio
drive
call,
around and run into it.
yeah, if it's a radio call, they'll handle the call. Other than that, it's the TSAs, and we're running very thin. So what they're taking with the TSAs, they move them from area to area on street sweeping, and they focus on street sweeping. So by the time they get up here, that's what they're focusing on. So they're up in here, and I need the help. And I'm telling you, when you call, it helps me because I can now say, look, we have the money there through their Mellon route. Can we hire a TSA? Can I pay a TSA overtime to come work in the river park and deal with parking issues?
Regular legal parking, that's all. I'm
Right.
And the thing is that like you said, they're pretty thin, traffic guys and the code enforcement personnel, but just keep calling. Every day, just call.
Do I get that phone number?
Yeah, it's 385-7600.
Sorry, usually we have an important number list on the side, but we put the
It's on Facebook now.
duties, we put the duties on the side this time. But yeah, 385-7600.
385-7600?
Yep,
And
just
they
every
do
day.
respond. I mean, these guys are great. I know on my street, we've had a lot of parking too close to corners and in front of fire hydrants. And when I call it in, they're there within 5 minutes, checking it out. So
I got my registration sticker ripped off my car and it was towed. So I know they do their job.
But my police car is currently registered.
There you go.
I've also seen UPS truck drivers making U-turns on the roundabouts. Instead of
Yeah, that's a
all
big
the way
problem,
around,
is-
They're making U-turns.
Yeah, because especially at like Central Park or on the other side, where they're like, wow, this is a really far drive, we're gonna go down all the way here to get to the end, and they're shortcutting it. No, they get cited for that when we see them do
That
that.
was it, thank you very much. Thank you.
Go ahead, sir. Back, and then we'll go back.
I know you mentioned speed enforcement and cinema. I know last year we did have a stop sign in Clear River for the kids that walk around. And we've seen a lot of people going to that stop sign. What type of?
Kiowa and Orleans.
Orleans, yeah.
Yeah, I was there, this was last week?
Yeah.
2 weeks ago.
What's her name? Rachel.
Somebody brought it up.
Rachel.
Somebody brought that up to me. I wrote like 40 tickets in 3 days there to get people to slow down. And it's happening. That was like a no joke. Like that was for sure happening. And I'm like the most lenient cop you ever meet. And I'll sit there and I'll be like, ooh, they slowed down. All right, I'll give it to them. But I'm talking like, right through that intersection.
And there's no roundabouts. And they just
Right.
call and ask for years.
And so the other thing to think about, if you're going to start talking about people bring up speed bumps, the city's never going to go for speed bumps. The reason is the fire trucks. Those fire trucks have to last like 30 years or something, and it destroys fire trucks. And so they say, well, if you put speed bumps, we're going to go up like 10 minutes for a response time or something. So stay away from speed bumps. That's never anything that's going to get more stop signs. I was even thinking, I think the next stop sign, the next stop's Roya. Roya, I don't know what you can say. R-O-I-A. Roya? All right. The next one, they were talking about maybe we'll put a stop sign there, so at least if there's two there, it gets traffic to slow down a little bit.
Go ahead.
So, speaking about the traffic and people not stopping, I work on base. One of the things that we have are the lighted pedestrian crosswalks. Has there been any talk about lighted pedestrian crosswalks?
We talked about the crosswalks with Jason Simante. He's a traffic engineer. We're gonna try and get him back here. There's been some issues right now with him we're trying to work through. But we talked about maybe not the lighted crosswalk, but putting lights at the crosswalks, actually things that project down. Lighted crosswalks, from what I understand, They're not a lot of bang for your buck because they have to take it out, pave it down, and it's just like the little bumps on the freeway and everything. They get hit enough times, they're out. So they have to constantly replace them. So where you're talking at Wainimi or Magoo, Wainimi right by the BX, that lighted crosswalk, they face a quarter of the cars that are going to go through on a busy, full city intersection because they're restricted based off of you have to have a military and you're dependent on it. So the city is shying away from that and just talking about illuminating from like above, from actually putting lights there.
And that'd be something you guys would have to go through with the city. That really doesn't. I'm all for it. I mean, to say, yeah, we need it. Because everybody up here likes to run in like all black and look like a bunch of ninjas running around at night. Jump out in the street and you can't really see them. Because there are crosswalks that have no stop sign at, like Danvers, right there. People, so over here on Thames River, right down here, the bushes got really tall. So the kids, they're not even taller than the bushes. So next thing you see, like a little kid pop out. They came out of the bushes in the crosswalk. So people were concerned. So we had the city parks cut those bushes down. So some of that stuff, if it's like bushes and stuff, I might be able to take care of because I just asked them, hey, can you cut that down? And they'll do it for us. But some of the stuff, like we do need the lighted crosswalks, something in there. I know those reflector things, they have to dig up the whole street and put like power in there and stuff to make it work. It's a big deal. But putting
Once
up
they start doing it, you guys will be complaining that you can't go through those streets.
but putting up like a Cobra head light or something to watch the street is probably very doable.
So let's, any other questions that you have for for Brandon? We'll go ahead and table because we've got a ton of stuff on the agenda right now because the dog park's going to take up a lot of time. So we'll go ahead and table it. If you have any questions, grab me offline. I'll write them down or hit them up on Facebook on one of the three verified pages. You're on the rummage. I saw you post a little pink thing on the rummage sale too, right? Is that a little pink beanie? Is that you? Sorry. Anyway,
Not all these people are on the website yet. They're letting out TikTok trash by your sister. See?
maybe they'll come in then.
All right, if you guys need anything, give me a call.
Yep. I want to give a second to you if you have anything. If you have anything to add to it.
Yeah, I'm Dawn Caranda for compliance. I just kind of usually pop in with Brandon to remind you who I am, face with the name. And again, we do city ordinance, in-op cars on driveways. Usually we're private property issues. We do not enforce the CC&Rs, but we do have a lot of the city ordinances that match. You are as far as I work beats 11, 12, and 14, and you're a small part of 14. So I basically have the entire north end of Oxnard right now, but you are the lowest in code compliance cases too, not just crime, but my supervisor asked me that earlier today, well, how many tow trucks did you have up there? You know, it was, most of the time what you'll see us is the, we are on your phone number. I will leave my cards here with your chair in case you have any other questions that you guys want to call me anytime. I work Sunday through Wednesday. We're on the 410, and unless you have any quick questions right now about code compliance or private property issues.
If people are storing excessive stuff in the garage, can you guys, it's an HOA thing, but it also helps. We did one on my street, and that's kind of cool. And it kind of cleaned it up.
We do have an ordinance that speaks to the use of the garage, because garages are built to house vehicles. And then people create their own parking problems out on the street because they are not using their garages to store vehicles. They become a big warehouse, and then they've got 2 or 3 cars on the street, and people get upset with each other over that. We will generally tell someone we need to be able to see that you can park a car in the garage, but we can't make them put the car in the garage. So, yes.
They're building out rooms. And
Rooms, no. That's illegal construction. That's unpermitted construction.
Insulation.
Absolutely call us for that.
Okay.
That's a misuse completely. I thought you just meant they were storing their junk, but if you have people building rooms inside their garages, that's absolutely illegal. And call me. We will investigate it and we can take it back out, unless they have a 3rd car garage that they can get permitted into a secondary room. which can happen depending on size of the house and so on. I'm sorry? Probably not. It all has to do with the size of the house and how many off-space parking spaces are required for the size and how many bedrooms you have. But there are homes that have legally converted their third garage into a den or whatever because they only have so many bedrooms.
A question on the people that are taking trash, leaving it in the dumpsters, or going through the dumpsters and taking trash out, vice versa. Would that be you, or would that be Oxnard Police?
Well, actually, the refuse department has it. We call it the refuse department still. Their environmental resources department. They have their own inspectors.
I can give some history on that.
We do help with it. As a matter of fact, I'm going out on February 25th to go on a detail to help stop the, we call them recycle bandits. Because they are taking, the state requires the city to recycle a certain amount. I mean, they have, the city is required to recycle a certain amount of items, poundage, like, and when those people are taking it out of the city trash cans, the city's not meeting their requirement. So the city does actually need those recycles to come to them.
I guess my question was mattresses and sofas to get dumped in the...
Oh, they get dumped? I thought you were talking about taking...
No, what they're doing
trash.
is they're going through the trash cans, they're getting stuff out, and then they're just leaving the trash cans dumped over.
You can call us, and I mean, you can definitely call us, and also call Environmental Resources. We work together a lot on this illegal dumping type things.
Anyone can cite them, though. The police, we can cite them.
Yeah,
If you
I'm
call.
sorry. I thought you were talking about specifically people taking...
The police is probably faster to get there and get a cite.
When in doubt, just call the non-crime line for anything crime-related, if you have a light bulb out or gasoline. But, yeah, for anything like that, and just so you know, the neighborhood councils have gotten together with the police chief, and they're doing, again, it's like Brandon said, that to ask for a special detail to do things, it's hard anywhere else in the city of Oxnard because of funding. But the refuse, the waste management, whatever they're called, environmental services people, they are actively right now trying to set up where they can go out and kind of catch these people, go out and kind of monitor these people and get them at the end. It's a slow process and it's a costly process. So. Okay, let's move on. Thank you. Thank you so much.